Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into it, shall we? Today, we're going to demystify a totally critical stage in your design process, creating corridor surfaces. But look, we aren't just going to sit here and memorize a bunch of software clicks today. No way. We're actually going to focus on the engineering intent behind those clicks. Because by understanding the why before the how, you'll be able to build much more accurate, reliable models. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with updating your corridor, move on to creating the datum surface, then define the boundaries, visualize the results, and finally, wrap it all up by styling your surface. All right, step 1, updating your corridor and handling out-of-date data. So before we even touch a single surface creation tool, we've got a pretty vital prerequisite to take care of. If you look over at your Prospector tab, you've probably seen this icon before, right? Well, what's really interesting is what that little icon is actually telling you. That shield with the yellow exclamation mark, it means your corridor is officially out of date. So before we can generate an accurate surface, we actually have to right-click on that corridor and rebuild it. But, and this is a big but, how you choose to rebuild it matters tremendously. You're presented with two options here. Rebuild automatic basically means that anytime you tweak your alignment or profile, the corridor recalculates instantly. And, sometimes you might actually need that. But here's a crucial tip from me to you. A manual rebuild is generally preferred. Why? Well, because often your design changes are just exploratory. You might just want to review a proposed alignment tweak before it permanently forces your entire corridor to regenerate. Manual control lets you review your work before committing to all those heavy computations. Moving right along to Section 2, creating the datum surface, specifically earthworks versus pavement. Now, this is where we make the absolute most fundamental choice of this whole process, deciding exactly what part of the corridor we're trying to calculate. The crucial point here is understanding the datum link. Let's look at this definition. In our cross-section, we've got pavement materials, the wearing course, the binder, the base course, and the sud base. But right now, we don't want to calculate those. We want to calculate the raw cut-and-fill earthworks. We basically want our surface to run straight down from the daylight, completely underneath our base course, and then right back up to the daylight on the other side. Everything below the pavement. That right there is our datum. To translate that engineering goal into the software, here's your click path. You're going to click on your corridor to open the contextual ribbon, head straight over to Corridor Properties, and then click on the Surfaces tab. From there, you'll hit that first button on the left to create a corridor surface. And a quick tip, immediately rename this to Corridor Datum Surface so you know exactly what this data represents moving forward. Trust me, your future self will thank you. And this next bit brilliantly illustrates how we command the software to actually follow our engineering intent. We need to set the overhang parameters specifically to bottom links. If you accidentally select top links, well, you'll be calculating your pavement materials, which is entirely the wrong workflow, since we handle pavement materials way later during the quantity takeoff. Next, you specify the code as datum, which effectively tells the software to look at the assembly from underneath and grab everything at the very bottom. Finally, just click Add to lock those links in. Just remember, whatever you do, do not add these as a break line. Okay, on to Section 3, defining the boundaries and containing the surface. So you've got the surface, but right now it has absolutely no limits. We need to contain it. This next step is totally non-negotiable. If you do not add a boundary, your newly calculated corridor surface is literally going to extend all the way through your existing ground surface. It will bleed everywhere, creating a massive, inaccurate mess. We only want it to run strictly through the physical extents of our actual corridor design. Containing it is thankfully very straightforward. Right inside that exact same window, you're just going to flip over to the Boundaries tab. Right-click the corridor datum surface we just named, and simply select Corridor Extents as outer boundary. Hit Apply, press OK, and boom, your surface is officially created and perfectly contained right within your design footprint. Section 4, visualizing the results by inspecting the 3D model. This is arguably the most rewarding part of the entire workflow. It's time to actually visualize the results of all our calculations. But first, you might notice your screen looks, well, a bit blank. That's likely because your surface layers are frozen. So you'll need to navigate over to your layer manager and thaw the layer. It's typically named CTOPO. Once you thaw that CTOPO layer, your existing ground and new corridor surfaces will finally populate. As noted in our source material, let's see how beautiful that looks. When you hover your mouse over the corridor extents, you can verify that it's your new datum surface. Select it, right-click, and open up the object viewer. This brings all that engineering data right out of the 2D plane and into a fully rotatable 3D environment. Once you're in the object viewer, don't just glance at it. Actually drag the model around to inspect the structural integrity. You really want to pay special attention to the complex areas of your geometry. Look closely at your intersections, your curb returns, your laybys. You want to visually confirm that everything looks perfectly smooth and correct before you even think about finalizing the design. And finally, Section 5, styling your surface and making data readable. Having accurate data is really only half the battle, right? If you or your team can't read it clearly, it's kind of useless. So let's make this visually distinct by creating a brand new, highly readable surface style. Let's go ahead and call it the HB Surface style. Under the Display tab of your surface properties, just ensure your border, major contour, and minor contour visibilities are turned on. Here is a fantastic styling hierarchy you can use. Set the border to yellow. Make your major contours a continuous line type with a distinct, thick line weight of 0.3. Then set your minor contours to a much lighter 0.02 line weight and make them dashed. Once you hit apply, you'll immediately see your corridor surface just pop with these clear, dashed minor lines and thick major ones. And what's really great is you aren't limited to just the corridor here. You can actually apply this exact same customized HB surface style directly to your main existing ground surface. It makes the contour spacing look so much cleaner and creates this beautifully unified aesthetic across your entire project. We've covered a lot of ground today, literally turning raw alignments into an engineered, bounded, and beautifully styled datum surface. But I want to leave you with this final thought. Now that your surface is precisely built to calculate earthworks below the pavement, how will getting those cut and fill volumes perfectly accurate change your project's financial bottom line? Think about that as you apply these techniques. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.